It sometimes happens that we know that the Lord is calling us to do something, and we put up excuses or we give ourselves alternatives that are not bad things in themselves. So we have this figure who the Lord tells him very directly, "Follow me." And he says, "Let me first go and bury my father." So that's good. We should honor our father and mother, and it's a work of mercy to bury the dead. But you can see that the Lord was very direct. Follow me. Sometimes we are tempted to serve the Lord the way that we want to serve him, not the way that he is inviting us to serve him. We have our own ideas, our own plans, good things, and the Lord invites us to something else, and we're tempted to avoid it, avoid that thing that we really know in our heart that he's calling us to do. St. Therese of Lisieux's dream was to be a missionary. Her dream was to travel the world spreading the gospel. Well, she ended up dying at 24 years old of tuberculosis, a Carmelite. And the Lord used her prayers, and she wrote a lot of letters to missionaries too. That was kind of how she got it out of her system. But the Lord used her prayers to inspire missionaries all over the world. So she's actually a patron of missionaries. As a saint now, she has a lot to do with the evangelical life of the church. St. Maximilian Kolbe, who traveled to India, who traveled to Japan to spread the gospel, consecrated his ministry to the little flower, to Therese of Lisieux. And so you can see how the Lord took this desire that she had and transformed it into something greater than she could have imagined. The little way is Therese's great contribution to the spiritual theology of the church. It's why she's a doctor of the church. And the little way is not something we have to discern. The little way is not something we have to wonder if God is calling us to do. We all know that we're called to practice the little way, which is quite simple, to do small things with great love. That person who I really need to forgive, but instead I want to go off and pray the rosary instead of forgiving them in the moment. That family member who could use help with a chore, but instead I'm going to decide now is the moment where I'm going to read the entire Gospel of Mark in one sitting. Right? So the little way, being attentive to those movements of grace where the Lord invites us to do a small thing for somebody else with great love. And the little way is going to, in the end, prepare us to do the big things that the Lord puts on our plate. Therese died quite young, and she died very ill, and she died very well, trusting in God. The things that she said on her deathbed, you can go read them. They're worth reading. They're the words of a saint. And so practicing the little way in her short life prepared her for the big final moment of offering herself to the Lord in the moment of her death. So by her intercession, may we be attentive to those small moments of grace so that we can grow in love of God the way that he wants us to, not the way that we want to. Let it be his plan and not our plans.